Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today, genocide denial and genocide ideology is dominated by revisionism. It acknowledges the facts, but sabotages and distorts at the same time its meaning. It is all the more toxic and manipulative because it presents genocide denial as reasonable and almost legitimate. In a social media, fake news world saturated by an overflow of images and heated reactions, it is no longer lies, but rather half-truths that triumph and rule the world. Despite great achievements and solid unity and resilience, Rwanda and the region at large still face challenges from the genocide against the Tutsi. The prevalence of the genocide ideology that led to the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda is still being spread in neighboring countries and abroad under the cover and support of some Western countries, among which Belgium, a country that has deep-rooted responsibilities in Rwanda's tragic past. Unfortunately, after the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi, the perpetrators were and are still given safe haven and support to reorganize and establish their bases in neighboring countries. The same genocide ideology narrative today is re-emerging and, in some cases, state-sponsored in our regional neighborhood. And again, under the indifference of the international community. And in some cases, even driven by some Western countries. Genocide ideology against the Tutsi, against Tutsi affiliation is being spread in public through dehumanizing language, calling Tutsis snakes, serpents, devils, hypocrites, foreigners. Genocide ideology is spreading propaganda messages specifically tailored to ignite hate by using, for example, poison rwandais, stating la guerre sera longue et populaire, which is reviving racial theories from colonial times used to divide and create conflicts such as the Tutsi Hamitic Bantu theory. The genocide against the Tutsi is distorted to fit into the current narratives, trivializing its consequences and whitewashing its perpetrators. We even see in our European neighborhood initiatives to suspend commemoration events. I'm thinking of a communal commemoration recently cancelled in Belgium for purely geopolitical reasons, which marks a particularly worrying precedent. Ladies and gentlemen, suspending a commemoration because of a tense political climate sends a clear message that remembrance and commemoration is optional, that it can wait. I'm asking myself, is this our concept of human dignity, of history, of respect and responsibility towards the victims of the genocide? This sends a sad and wrong signal that memory deserves to be honored only when it does not bother anyone. But memory, by definition, disturbs. It questions, it confronts, it forces us to face what others prefer to forget. Rwanda, we went through that and we won that battle. That's where it takes on its full meaning. The 31st commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi is an occasion for Rwanda and all defenders of humanity to recall the commitment by the international community under the 1948 UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide to enact legislations that engage them in fighting genocide and its genocide ideology. A commitment that was reiterated by the UN Security Council in its resolution number 2150 of April 16, 2014, requesting member states to judge or extradite genocide fugitives on their territories. We, as a country, reaffirm our commitment to play our rightful role among the international community in fighting genocide ideology and preventing genocide, ensuring that never again does not become again and again. And that never again translate into actions for generations to come. Rwanda has built itself. Reconciliation has progressed. But at the same time, unfortunately, one thing remains the same, again and again. The fight against forgetting, distortion, and indifference. And you here today, distinguished guests, are witness and actors in the fight, in this fight, a fight for never again, in spite of an again and again and again. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda from April to July 1994 is the culmination of decades-long ethnic-based hate and the ideology of division instigated, taught, and spread since the colonial period in Rwanda by the colonial administration, the Catholic White Fathers missionaries, and emulated by the initial political parties that led Rwanda and built their policies and on ethnic division and hatred against Tutsi. This led to unpunished killings and massacres of Tutsi between 1959 and 1963 under the supervision of Belgian military officers mandated by the Belgian administration. Ethnic division, marginalization, and persecution of Tutsi marked both the First and Second Republics from 1962 to 1994 under President Grégoire Kayibanda first and President Juvenal Habyarimana respectively, installing a culture of impunity, enabling the deep-rooted hatred that led to the planning and execution of the genocide against the Tutsi in 1994. The 1994 genocide against the Tutsi was planned and systematically prepared before the eyes of the whole world. This is a fact. The genocide was state-sponsored, state-planned, and executed with Hutu extremist militias mobilized by local leaders and encouraged by media, propaganda, and exterminated in 100 days 1 million innocent Tutsi lives and those who opposed the genocide. The genocide was finally stopped in July 1994 by the Rwandan Patriotic Front RPF Inkotanyi. Yet, the Government of National Unity, established on July 19, 1994, prioritized national unity as a foundation for rebuilding the country. Reconciliation and resilience were the core objective of the Reconstruction, and Ndi Umunyarwanda became the cornerstone value of the new nation. Ndi Umunyarwanda means I am Rwanda. Before colonial interference, Rwanda never experienced ethnic-based massacres between its inhabitants. After the 1884 to 1885 Berlin Conference, Africa, and in particular Rwanda, faced colonial-driven mapping that left Rwanda amputated. After Germany's defeat in World War I in 1917, its former colony Rwanda was then again amputated by Belgium, which initiated a deep reform of Rwanda's customary institution and establishing a divisionism-based political system that destroyed Rwandan culture and the unity of its people. Contrary to the above mandate, during this period, Belgium supported and enforced ethnic-based divisions among Rwandans, culminating in the creation of ethnic-based political parties in 1959 that overthrew the monarchy and were granted independence in 1962, establishing an ethnic-based republic. These ethnic-based divisions became the base of the post-colonial governance and culminated to series of killings and massacres that climaxed into the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, 31 years ago, the international community turned its back on Rwanda, abandoning it in its greatest time of need. The current situation in our neighborhood is a stanch reminder of the failure by this international community to prevent the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda.